Does that lead us seamlessly into celebrity couples?
Go on, tell me all about it.
Well, celebrity sporting couples. It's just Rory McIlroy. We touched on it right at the start, didn't we? He won 1.25 million at the Shanghai Masters, which, by the way, is incredible because that is more than he won for winning the US Open.
I know, it's amazing. It's the richest prize in sport, I think, at the moment.
To the delight of his watching girlfriend, Caroline Wozniacki.
So we're talking about Raza and Wazza. Roza and Wazza.
Yeah, she's made £8 million this season.
Yeah.
McIlroy referred to himself and Wozniacki as Wozzleroy.
Yeah, Wozzleroy. Yeah,
that's right. Wozzleroy, that's it. But there's the successes and the failures. I thought we'd look at those.
Yeah. Well, we'll go on then.
Delve back. Bring pressures, don't I? I mean, I have to go back to a point. You talk about Lewis Hamilton with a heavy head driver. No, he's a pro.
Yeah.
When he gets in that
car
and
you never know inside a man's head.
No, he's driving. Well, he is totally and utterly focused. He's not thinking about, oh, you know, I wish I sent her flowers last week.
Yeah.
No,
did you ever think about personal things when you were on the field?
No. Not a problem.
Yeah. Well, listen.
Successes and failures. Go on.
Successes.
Well, successes. Yeah. We sort of David and Victoria Beckham.
Yeah.
I know she's not from the sporting world, but nevertheless, both very high profile. David worth 135 million. Victoria 35 million. 4 children. All magnificent.
That's right. And I suppose you're going to tell me about Andre Agassi and Steffi Graf, are you?
Yeah, although he went through a couple of troubles before that,
of course,
because he was
and
with
of
Brooke
course,
Shields.
they're both retired. See, I've got this theory that celebrity couples never work because they're too jealous of each other's successes, and they're actually very competitive with each other in a marriage, and that's why actors and actresses never get together. Anyway, look, somebody who knows a lot more about this than I do is Lee Purvis, and she, of course, is editor of More magazine, and she's on the phone now. Lee, good evening to you. Hiya, Lee. No, she's not with me, but she will be with me in a second.
So I don't agree with you about the competitive nature of the couple, where they're envious of each other's careers.
Oh, that's what
I think if you're, you sure? Are you sure you're not? If you're in a marriage, when you turn around and say, "I'm so thrilled that my wife / husband,"
it doesn't happen like that. Do you know why Burton and Taylor split up twice and then got back together 3 times?
Big diamond ring,
big diamond rings, big yachts, and all that. But every time one of them got a film that was, up there, they fell out with each other because you get jealous of each other's success. Celebrity couples are all very well, in the privacy of their home and all that.
If you put one couple, you can't project that into another couple.
No, hang on. No, but the minute you see headlines all over the place saying, oh, this woman's just won an Oscar, she's brilliant, you find it creates all kinds of troubles and tensions, because these people, by their very nature, are massively competitive. That's why they're at the top of their business, because they fight so hard for it. And once they get there, they suddenly decide, hang on, do I really want to share this glory with somebody else?
Is tennis a difficult one? Leighton Hewitt and Kim Clijsters' 4-year relationship between the tennis players ended in 2004 for private reasons, 4 months before the wedding. What about Chris Evert? Chris Evert and Jimmy Connors, Andy Miller, Chris Evert, John Lloyd and Chris Miller.
What is tennis? It's a global sport, and these guys are globe trotting, and they're invariably not in the same place at the same time. They are going to the 4 corners of the world at different times. So therefore, there must be some terrible stress within the dynamic of a relationship like
definitely.
that.
Listen, Lee's on the phone now. We've got Lee Purvis from More magazine. She's with us. Lee, good evening to you.
Hello, good evening.
Hello, my dear. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Now, Lee, I've got this theory I've just been putting to my 2 colleagues here, and they're, brushing it away as nonsense in my head. But very successful people who marry each other often have the troubles of coping with their own egos against their partner's success, don't they?
Of course they do, and I think psychologically, that's really predictable. I mean, you've got to sort of hold Posh and Bex up there with high regard, as you were saying earlier.
Yep.
It's very rare that you get a couple who have each, become so famous that they manage to last their sort of time as a man and wife.
Yeah.
I mean, there's Cheryl and Ashley, obviously more recently Nicole and Lewis. They were living not together. They were travelling across the world to see each other maybe once a month, once in a blue moon, both extremely determined and focused on their careers. And actually, people like Jennifer Aniston and Brad Pitt, for goodness sake, 2 egos, an actor and an actress, never going to work out really in the long run, is it?
No, I totally agree with you. I mean, the reason that works with the Beckhams is that Victoria, to all intents and purposes, retired as a pop singer by the time she and David hooked up with each other, and she just wanted to become Mrs. David Beckham.
She may be retired as a pop singer, but she hasn't retired as everything else she wants to do.
Of course she hasn't, but she's part of the Beckham brand now, isn't she, Lee?
Well, to be fair, exactly. She has got her own brand, and the thing about Posh and Bex and how they actually make it work is they don't just have his brand and her brand, is they've also got the Beckham brand between them. Yeah. And they're very, very good at sort of working the press and the media to suit themselves, arguably, and you know, making a go of it in public eye very much together as a couple. And I think they've each got obviously their own, you know, interests. Obviously, him with his soccer and her, you know, with her fashion. But they do come together at the end of the day. And I'm sure that David wouldn't be turning his hand to fashion and designing men's pants if it was something that he really didn't want to do. You know, it's not like he does it for the money. I genuinely think they've got a joint common interest in fashion. Well, I like to think so anyway, eh?
Lee, has it ever worked in terms of sport or celebrity where two really big, high-profile names come together and it actually does benefit?
I can't think of one. I can't think of one, Lee. We think of Burton and Taylor over the years. Crikey, they got together and broke up 3 times.
Yeah, no, I don't think it can really. I just don't, because I just think the two worlds, you know, with these celebrities, you know, no matter what they do, whether one's an actor and one's a sports star, you know, I just think they live completely different lives. And, you know, each of these people will have a different team of people and publicity people around them, advising them each on different things. And at the end of the day, especially if you're travelling for your sport and you're working miles away from your other half, you know, there's an element of trust there that has to be there. And unfortunately, as we know, over recent months and the last couple of years, you know, trust is a massive part of a relationship with anyone. And when you're both doing different things anyway, never mind being in the public eye, then it gets harder and harder.
Sure.
Lee, you've just given hope to every average Joe and average Jane in the world who thinks, you know what, a celebrity doesn't want another celebrity, they want someone normal.
They want me. I mean, the thing
give
is,
them my number. Tell them to call me now.
It's absolutely right. Now, Lee, I mean, the reason why there's never been a first Mrs. Parry is because I always thought the poor girl would never be able to handle my immense success in life. And therefore,
I'm not saying
there's not an Everton fan mad enough for you. That's what it is.
What's everybody laughing about? And so therefore I spared the poor girl from the torment. And, you know, nobody ever gives me...
You're a Galahad, aren't you?
Thank you. I was about to say, Lee, nobody ever gives me the benefit, you know, the credit for actually thinking about, you know, a potential partner who would have been but wouldn't have been.
Let's face some serious facts.
Absolutely. but there you are, Lee. You see, it took a lady like you to come on and explain all that to us. These two guys didn't even understand what I was talking about earlier. Thank you for coming on, Lee, and explaining it to them in such lucid terms. And I hope we'll be able to talk to you again on Sports Tonight Live very soon. Thank you very much indeed.
Thanks, Lee.
So that's Lee. See, backing up everything I said, you guys are too quick to write off my theories. I know about these series makers. I've seen a bit of life, OK? When I explain them to you and you get a specialist coming on endorsing them, I want to thank you from you two boys and an apology. Right, that's coming in 1 second's time.